Zero. Net zero ohm.
Still ain't got my good coffee. I mean, there's like a Dollar General, like just literally at the end of the road I have to go down to get out of my neighborhood. And yeah, they ran out of bottles. Apparently I'm not the only one buying them, but pretty good day so far. Wonder what Peyton Johnson's doing today. Now, Peyton's my teammate on Team G2. And yeah, we're going to make today's video I'm going to use Peyton as a reference for this. Example. I mean, normally Peyton's an example of a bad example, but today he's going to be just an example. Probably in a better light than he's normally put in. Now, Peyton's an all right guy, and he's redneck as they come, but, you know, that's all right. I like a little bit of everybody. I like some old rednecks, you know. And, okay, so, yeah, let's get started on this video, man, today's subject, because after yesterday's video, just doing, you know, real base head talk, a lot of people really seem to like that, and so something that's overlooked by a lot of base heads is what I want to talk about today. And that is doing upgrades that are like relatively cheap upgrades. And I had a guy make a comment yesterday. You know, I'd kind of talked to him on the phone, did a little bit of an interview with him because he's in Ohio. We don't have a Team Hertz Donut chapter there. And he wanted to be on the team. And he made a comment, you know, he's got a wall, 4 G2 Leviathan 15s in it. And he made a comment about upgrading subs and then start doing cabin upgrades. And, well, that's where Peyton comes in, because, you know, Peyton, he had EVLs, 618s, and then he upgraded to G2 Genesis. And at that point, he was doing the same number dB-wise, but at half the power. So efficiency really came into play. And Peyton's build's nasty for what he's got power-wise. He's only running 4 of the SCAR SK4500s. And, I mean, he's, you know, getting up there in the 60s. Well, what Peyton has been doing in his spare time, you know, rather than going out and buying equipment like more power, which would really just blow him, like, it'd get him over the top. But rather than doing that, Peyton has been doing cabin mods, and he's been making big gains. We're talking gains on the meter and gains wind-wise. And that's kind of what we're going to talk about today, because there is just a lot of things you can do in your cabin to gain SPL. Start with deadener. You know, how is your roof? Like, God, the roof in here, this thing here rattles like really bad, but how is your roof in your build? You know, do you have wood up there? If not, throw some Vibraflex on that bad boy. You know, we've talked about Vibraflex deadener before, and that's pretty much the king of deadeners. You know, you have Vibraflex, you have the Sundown deadener, which is Vibraflex, and then you have Defbonch Rigid. And those deadeners all have one thing in common. Once you put them up, you got to put them up with a torch or a heat gun. But once it gets like hot and forms, when it cools down, it's like concrete. So yeah, deaden everything with that. The floors, the roof, if you don't have a wooden roof. If you don't have a wood roof, throw some Vibraflex up there and a sheet of wood, you know. Glue it in place with PL and drill little holes in it. If there's any voids, put spray foam up there. It will make the roof solid as a rock. And that's going to be a big gain, you know. Deaden your doors. just anywhere, you know, make sure your wall is sealed off really good if you have a wall. If not, deaden everything you can from the back to the front, you know, fill all them voids in the rear quarter panels with spray foam. And then put deadener on the outer sheet of metal, you know, or, you know, the one here, you know, where you can get into spray foam. Try to put deadener on everything you can there. But all these little things, you know, try what you can that you can afford at the time. Because Peyton's a prime example. He's just been making like mad gains with what he has. And that's just the way to do things, you know. In the old blue Jeep build, at one point, I was still learning a lot about like front port on the 6th order and a lot of things. So I went to Billy's one day to test, and just from doing little things testing, Billy found me like 2 dBs that I had there. And one of the big things we did was a roundover on my front port. The roundover actually shrunk the port in a little bit, which was kind of what it needed, I guess. But just rounding over all 4 sides of that port, it helped me gain quite a bit. And at this point, if you have a wall with that front port, I'm kind of a big fan of roundovers. Because every vehicle I've seen roundovers go in, there has been almost a dB gain. Upward, you know, like we're talking almost a dB to 2. Just from doing roundovers on your port. And that's cheap, dude. PVC pipe, I mean, it's a pain to cut. If you have a little table saw, it helps it a lot. Watch your fingers. But roundovers help. Deadener helps. I've seen guys do all kind of things to the floor pans, you know, sand it down, throw some fiberglass resin and playground sand there, or epoxy and playground sand, you know, mix it all up in the floor pan. Then put deadener over that. That might put you in a different class. You want a deadener over it. So they just say, oh yeah, deadener, that's legal. Not saying do that. I'm just saying that, you know, people do. But firewall, if you can pull your dash out and deaden the firewall, that helps. Every little channel up through here that is a void, spray foam it in the B-pillar if you can. All these little things help, and do all the testing that you can. You know, I've seen guys just play with the RCA voltage going into their sub amps. You know, turning the sub level up on the end dash, reset the gains, do a burp, turn it down, maybe do a burp. Testing like that, you can find gains. I know it sounds weird because the gain supposed to match the RCA voltage, but some amps like really high RCA voltage, some don't. And then you get amplifiers like Tar amps that, I know the MD series, if you're over 2 volt, the amp's not happy, not making the power. But if you go down to like 1.7, 1.8, they make more power. Don't know why. It's magic. It's kind of like voodoo, but there are gains in your system. And a lot of them are just cheap, but time consuming. And that's where Peyton, I don't know what that dude does for a living. I mean, he's always wearing the yellow vest or whatever, the safety shirt. But I see videos of that dude many nights a week where he's in his garage and he's testing and changing things. And that's why he's a prime example, because it is all paying off for him. And these are things you can do too. Maybe you don't have a meter. Maybe you don't. But I can tell you off the rip, getting that roof solid, doing something with the floor pans, filling voids with spray foam, none of that is going to hurt you on the meter. It is all going to help you. I mean, that's just the way it is. And taking up space in your cabin. You see guys like building wooden consoles. When you build them, fill the voids in it. Like whether you fill it with spray foam or make an enclosed box in there that's kind of sealed tight. Just because taking up that, whatever the console is going to take up, let's say 1/2 to 3/4 of a cube if you make it big enough, maybe more. That's airspace that you've displaced in your cabin. score wise, it's going to make it louder. And that can actually help with wind because it's going to create more pressure in the cabin by having a lower air, airspace in the cabin. So all these little things that you can do. My old Jeep, I just run a stock console in it. It ain't even stock for that Jeep because Lord knows them Cherokees up to like 96, the console sucked. It didn't have no cup holder. You could buy aftermarket cup holders that all sucked. So I threw, the 97 newer in it, which my Jeep's becoming that because it got the doors on it, window trim, everything that I can put on it from the 97 newer. But anyway, these are all things that you can do to help you. I urge you guys, where you're at with your system right now. I talked to one guy, well, he made a comment on my video yesterday that he was kind of getting discouraged with his build. And, after watching the video, he realized he just need to take time, slow down, really enjoy the hobby. That's what we're doing. We're enjoying this. And I'm just letting you guys know there's a lot of things you can do without spending big money. You don't need new subs right now. You don't need to add more power. A lot of things that you probably, some of you can afford it, a lot of you can't right now, especially with the way the economy is, gas prices. We're not even going to get into all of that. But some people, a lot of people, their wallet's a little thinner than normal. So if you got a homie with a meter or you have a meter, even if you don't, there's upgrades you can do. You can find hidden dBs. You can find more wind. A lot of you guys with a wall, you can play with a front port and find more wind. That's just kind of what I wanted to touch on today. And I've been friends with Peyton before we were on Team G2 together. And I just kind of been following him, and here in the past few months, this dude's kicking butt without spending big money. I ain't saying do like him. He did a wooden dash, but after he installed the wooden dash and the gains he got from that to now, he's done very little. He's just playing with certain things and he's finding more dB, finding more wind. Me personally, I like keeping the cabin of my vehicle as stock looking as possible. That's why I got the stock console in it. Door panels, it's just easier for me to build with wood, but that would be kind of considered extreme. Not really, because I'm not bolting the door on the driver's side shut. I don't have anything more than the stock dash, and that's kind of the theme I go for because I do drive that Jeep every day. I love driving it every day, so I try to keep it really driver friendly. But there's just a lot of things you can do to your front cabin area to gain without doing the wooden dash and everything. I'm trying to kind of stay away from anything extreme or that would put me classified as the extreme build. But definitely, guys, make your roof as hard as a rock. Stiffen up them floor pans, especially if you have like a Chevy Tahoe Suburban or something like that. Them things are bad about ripping floor pans. I mean, Chevy Black, he's just now going through that. So even if you're not loud enough to rip floor pans yet, I guarantee you put something on that floor like Vibraflex, fiberglass resin, epoxy, and sand, whatever you do, it's going to help you gain. And down the road, when you do upgrade to more power, more subs that would rip the floor, they're already taken care of, guys. Me personally, I have learned a lot since I've done that blue Jeep build. Guys, like I said in other videos, I stopped the wall right here and I didn't do anything to my roof forward of that. I didn't know any better. I didn't know the roof was going to flop around like that. It did, but I didn't, I didn't know what that build was going to do. I don't even think my expectations were for hair tricks in the beginning with them XFLs. I just wanted a wall. I wanted a 6th order, and I built it. And that roof gave me all kind of problems from here forward. I got loud enough that it started ripping things that needed reinforced. But if I would have done it right in the beginning before I did the wall, if I would have done the whole roof with a full sheet, I probably wouldn't have had all them problems. And my wife's Blazer, that thing's getting nasty and the roof on it don't move at all. And, you know, I started with one full sheet from front to back, glued it up there, let it dry, drilled holes in it, filled it with spray foam and the channel above the wood, and it's golden. Now, I'm gonna do that with this Jeep when I start. Actually, that's like the next thing I'm gonna do to the blue Jeep is put the sheet of wood up there. Okay, I need to get on the roof and like be able to clean it all up and get all the bed liner and everything off of it for when we spray the Raptor liner on there. So I need the roof kind of solid for that. But try to do things right. If you're at a point now where you can do your whole roof, do it. A lot of headliners, you can like pull it down and put a sheet of 3/4 up there and put the headliner back in and no one will ever know. If not, Vibraflex it. But, you know, try to find the hidden gains in your car now without spending money or upgrading equipment. That's kind of the purpose of this video. And if you guys, the majority of you guys watching already know who Peyton Johnson is. You probably see his videos all over Facebook and TikTok. But if not, you know, give the guy a follow on TikTok or friend him on Facebook and just kind of go and watch what he does. I mean, it's pretty cool watching him because he's just taking every advantage he can of what he has to work with and spending time. And he's making really good gains doing it. And I really think that build is going to be super nasty when he actually gets big power in there. Yeah, because I mean, right now I think he's clamping like maybe total 20K, but he's doing things that takes people like 30-40K to do. So, and like I said, he's doing it all cheaply, just playing with things and bracing things and changing port, just stuff that don't cost money. But all right, guys, that is it for today's video. Peace out, guys, and base on with better coffee than this, because I'm not digging the can. Nope.